Friends, today's NRI Samai program from Los Angeles brought to you commercial free by listeners like you. Your generous donations make possible for us to stay commercial free, and today's show is pre-recorded. If you have a question for the guest, please send an email to nrisamai@gmail.com. We will follow up with the guest and find the answer for you. Thank you for your support.
Good morning, friends. Good evening and good evening to all our listeners. We recently had a series of incidents at the English and Foreign Languages University, where the students of that university, students of Usmania University, University of Hyderabad, and also several activists from various civil liberty organizations have all been protesting against the rustication of three students, Mohan Dharawat, Satish Nainala. Two of those three students are with us today. First of all, thank you, Mohan and Satish, for taking time to talk to us.
Thank you, Suresh.
Thank you. Before we jump into the, what happened and why it happened, so on and so forth, I learned from the various news articles that have been published on this issue that the university claims that you three had broken the glass door of the varsity library during a protest way back in March. Could you tell us what was that protest about in the first place?
Okay, well, Suresh, actually this protest was about 24 hours reading room, which was actually adjacent to the library. It's very close to a library, the building.
I see.
Yeah, and so the library, the 24 hours reading room was always there. And suddenly on March 3rd, our Vice Chancellor gives oral communication to the librarian to close down.
I see.
Yeah, then we asked, immediately the student council, which is elected body, which represents the students' concern to the university, and they went and asked the concerned officer, librarian, and the registrar. They said that they don't know anything. We got orders from the vice chancellor, and when the student union tried to meet Vice Chancellor, she denied the appointment to talk about all these things. Then the students union, they have called for a general body meeting, and they have informed all the students that there is no reason, there is nothing that sort the university is telling about the reading room, why they have closed it. And everybody, student, it was also going to be the exam time. And they were really unhappy about the, closing down their reading room. And, more than 400 students, came together, and they were, first day they boycotted the classes, and they peacefully demonstrated. Second day also they did it, and the administration did not do anything that sort. They did not respond anything that sort.
I see.
Then the fourth day, where the students union again called for a huge Occupy Library kind of protest, and that protest more than around 500, I can say that more than 500 students who gathered and sat in the library and they were reading. That's it. And none of them touched the university library property, or none of them touched any books, computers, anything that sort. They were just occupied the library because the administration is not responding to the elected representative body of student union. And so this was our library is supposed to be till 8 o'clock, but hours. Till 20 hours in 24 hours, and 24 hours is the reading room.
Okay.
But our student union and students are so very great people that very peacefully they protested, and immediately our vice chancellor involved the police. There, we got more than 100 police which includes Assistant Commissioner of Police, Police Inspector, and more than that, around 100 police people came that night. And still we did not do anything, and we were just sitting and reading in our library till midnight, 12 o'clock. And then midnight, 12 o'clock, the administration sends student welfare dean, Tutti Proctor, and some other two officials, and they had a kind of dialogue with us, and in front of Assistant Commissioner of Police, they assured us to reopen the reading room next day.
I see.
So we had to so there was a written assurance from the administration. Then the student union and everyone left midnight, vacated the library, and the morning called off the strike. But when morning again, as it is, there was nothing that sort, they gave a written assurance in the night, but morning was nothing was implemented.
I see.
So then, thereafter, our student union really took it as a very serious, because, how can the administration do all this thing? And then we were boycotting, we were reading on the roads, we were, doing different kinds of protests, forms of protest. So finally, ninth day, the protest reached ninth day, and it was on March 11th. And so our Vice Chancellor again orally gives a communication to the librarian to close down the university library completely. So earlier we had 24 hours reading room closed down. Now the university library they have closed down.
I see.
So then student union called all the students, and they met, and they tried to meet the Vice Chancellor. They met Vice Chancellor in the sense that she did not give the appointment, and the registrar, who is also official communicator to the students, he was also did not bother to give appointment. So basically the students were sitting outside the library, and they were peacefully giving slogans, singing songs, and they were peacefully protesting. And meanwhile, the communication we received from the librarian, they say that this is now we are not allowing only students. They're the other teachers and non-teaching, they have been using, and there are so many people inside using, and for students they are not allowing. Then we questioned, and when some around 1 o'clock, from morning 9 to since 9 o'clock to till 1 o'clock, we were sitting outside and doing protest. But 1 o'clock, one of the library staff or somebody, we really don't know, somebody opened the door, main entrance. Then it is a glass door, and there were more than 300 students, 400 students. And they just got up, and why shouldn't we use, when other people are, groups going and, reading, it's not only for the teachers, it's not only for the non-teaching, it is also for the students. That's what everybody thought, and they just rushed into the library, and it was a very big mob, and we don't know who are there and who are not there.
Right.
And in a very rush, that one there was, we can say that there were some small cracks on the glass door, but nobody knows. The glass door is not very hard that you try to hit and then it gets broken. It is just a very small piece of glass, very narrow glass, and people, when mob tried to enter into that, one of the glass door, this handle was broken.
Right.
And there was just cracks, that's it. And that is to only one door. If at all, the students' if they had intention to break the doors, they would have broken both, but they did not do. And you see the earlier forms of protest where we did not do anything. So that sort of thing happened, and immediately. And we were actually we are from 3 different organizations. And we are representative of 3 different organizations. I am president of one student organization called Dalit Adivasi Bhahujan Minority Students Association. Satish Mainala, he is General Secretary of Telangana Student Organization. And Subhash Kumar is, senior leader of the Democratic Student Front Association. So, like, majorly these organizations, see, in a university when there is a struggle was going on, and the student council also called for all organization and all general body meeting, there we have also, expressed our solidarity with the student movement. And that's sort of, and we do not have actually any stake in that struggle, in that protest. And they have, so when this happened, after this incident, immediately 2 o'clock, or maybe after 1 hour, 3 o'clock, the university picked up these 3 names and they filed a case in the police station.
I see.
And it was so strange that we were actually not there at that time. And we were like in our different places. The protest was actually leading by the student council. And the police, Usmania University police the inspector gives oral communication to the student union, and other 3 of us, and saying that, no, what is your explanation on this? Because they were also like observing, and I don't know what they felt, but they called the student union. Student union immediately wrote a, letter to the police station saying that these 3 people were not there. They were not part of the protest. The protest was called for by only student council, which is a constitutional body, and you cannot just, allege and give these people names, and whatever charges you put, it's really baseless and it's a false, and therefore you drop, and we take responsibilities. They have given very very strong letter, and there the police station, they did not file a case. They just registered, but they did not file FIR. That's what we heard.
I see.
Then this incident got over, and then we were like fine, and suddenly March 24th, after 2 weeks, we get again memo, which like we have to give explanation for breaking the library glass door. That's what we got. Then when we got this, we showed the student union. Then student union immediately 25th, they again wrote a letter to the vice chancellor and the university that these people were not there and these people were not responsible for that incident. The protest was called for by only the student union. You talk to us, you have a dialogue with us, but you cannot frame charges against any individual in this thing. We were responsible, and there is a big mob, and we don't know how it happened, and it was completely different thing. And how can you target a few individuals like that? They have written a very strong letter also. They denied the charges also.
Right.
Then, since we also got the memo, we also explained we gave our explanation as well on March 26th, saying that we were not there, we did not break, and as a president of student organization, we showed our solidarity with that struggle, but we don't have any stake in that protest. We have written.
I see.
And so March 6th over, and we thought everything is going cool. Then suddenly May 6th, we get investigation letter.
I see.
And it was so it was so shocked that they investigated us for 2 years. And when you see that letter, there is nothing that you have a committee, proctorial committee, which look after disciplinary action or all those things. They did not follow any kinds of rules.
I see.
So in a proctorial body, board meeting, or a proctorial committee, according to our university laws and ordinance, statute says that in a regulation 22, you have to have 4 deans, security officers. Since we are from the marginalized students, there should be SC, ST, OBC representative. And this is one form of thing. And they did not take 3 deans in that committee. They did not take SC, ST, OBC representative and a security officer also. Apart from that, they did not give any chance to defend or give our voice before the committee. They did not call us, if at all there is a committee. And they say that there are 17 witnesses that named our names in that. But that 17 witnesses names also, whatever they have given, they have come out. That the news come out, the committee report came out that none of them told that these people were there. There was the committee, they have given in a written letter saying each and that staff, whatever library staff who are the 14 members in the library, they have given a written letter to the Vice Chancellor and Proctor, and also they said, they met the committee and they told that, these people were not there and it was a mob and we really don't know who did it and all those things.
Right.
Friends, NRI Samay is a non-profit independent alternate media from Los Angeles, USA, which brings positive stories from grassroots activists from all corners of India and across the world. If you have any interesting episode you would like NRI Samay to cover, we will be happy to do so. NRI Samay would also like to encourage amateur journalists who have a flair for highlighting current events. You can be part of our citizen journalist team. You could cover an important event, interview victims of an atrocity, or document an inspirational story. The idea is to have a mix of experience throughout all parts of the world, preferably supported by an audio or a video clip of your story to be aired, which will be the curtain raiser. You can also submit your opinion articles on important topics to NRI Samay. We will be happy to put it on nrisamay.com in the opinion section. All your work will be credited only to you. And if you're interested, please send an email to nrisamay@gmail.com.
Yeah, well, one question. So you said that as per the university laws, you need to have 4 deans there. You need to have a representation from the SC and BC on the committee. So without all these things, if the restitution letter was provided to you guys, would that letter still hold any value because it doesn't go along with the university laws itself?
Yeah.
No, actually, Suresh, this is Satish.
Hey.
Hi. This letter actually, in terms of legalities and by going through the bylaws of the university, doesn't hold any value as such. It does not hold any legality as such. But the problem with the administration is that it is not going through following any of the bylaws of the university. That is the reason precisely for which you see there is a whole lot of lapses in the procedure of investigation.
Right.
So the administration is run in a single-handed and totalitarian autocratic manner. That is the reason precisely for which the administration, in the hands of the Vice Chancellor who is running the university in a single-handed manner, by using the police, she is kind of imposing this illegal order on the students and forcing us to leave the campus.
I see. So is this the first? Is this the first of its kind where this kind of a situation happened in the university, or there were prior incidents as well?
Yeah, actually, there was one prior incident, like 2 years back. One Telangana student, his name is Koteshwar, and he was also rusticated, but not for 2 years. He was rusticated on the grounds that he allegedly bet a teacher.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But the whole incident was unlike that. Like the teacher was involved in another business of NGO. He was also a director of NGO apart from his government job, and he kind of did not give money for his people who were working in his NGO, and he completely cheated the employees, particularly women whom he completely exploited. So this student, since he is also a civil society member and he works in other human rights organizations, he wanted to have a dialogue with the university teacher. And then this teacher made all this, false allegations and other things. After 1 week of huge protest by the civil liberties organizations and rights organizations, the then administration took back the entire thing, the investigation. They withdrew the investigation and they said, there are a whole lot of problems in the investigation and they could not find it out who the really culprit is. These allegations are false, and they took back the investigation. But now the administration position is completely different. Even though there are lapses, it's not, even talking about the procedure of rustigation, whether it is completely democratic or following the bylaws of the university, and whether it's really stick to that decision which is, taken it, or democratic or undemocratic.
I see. Now, let's say even just for argument's sake, if the glass door was broken by any particular student, right? Now, does that even qualify that the university can take such a strong action that the student be rusticated?
No, not at all actually. When you look at this, this kind of vandalism or the violence, it is like a hardly matter of a few thousand rupees. If at all, the university really thinks about a student's future. If at all, the university is like trying to negotiate or have some kind of good environment in the campus, they should, first try to counsel the student, or if not that, like you give some kind of punishment, the proportionate should be, matched. It's not that, for a small reason you just rustigate. This kind of scenarios like never happens in any universities. And like this violence actually doesn't attract, this kind of punishment. And it is actually whole, like we did not kill anyone, we did not beat anyone, we did not do anything. And apart from that, like you have to also see the incidents also, how serious is.
Right.
And Suresh, one more thing about one more thing. See, the glass door which has been broken when the mob tried to enter into the library, it might have cost some 3,000 or 4,000. And the university, if it is if it's ruling or if it's functioning in a democratic and constructive manner, see, after the incident took place and after they have taken the decision of rustigation, now they are involving police forces. Kind of, these police forces need money every day, which is more than 1 lakh rupees per day. It's like for the past 15 days, they are engaging police forces, which cost around 15 lakhs of the university money. Right. So for a glass which was broken for 5,000 rupees, it's very funny that, they are engaging, they are, spending money of lakhs rupees.
So, that's interesting, right? Under what circumstances would the police be involved in matters that are strictly pertaining to the university itself?
Actually, the police have nothing to do with the university functioning and other things. According to our university bylaws, if the matter is not solved and if the crime or anything, act of violence or anything is such that it's very grave and, it cannot be handled within the university, then it has to go out of the university and should be handled to the police station.
Right.
And I would like to remember you one High Court judgment of Bombay, like Honorable High Court of Bombay has given a judgment in the case of IITs that, in any circumstances, the police and paramilitary forces have nothing to do with the university campuses. Right. Because the university campuses themselves have a judicial body wherein, the proctorial board, and it has an autonomous security section which can look after its own matters.
Right,
but the situation presently here is the incapable university administration, if I am putting it rudely, but I am right. The administration which is incapable of solving the university matters in a completely democratic and university ordinance manner, they are using the force so that, they can suppress the voices for a solution. Solution is not through democratic dialogue, but it is using by force and violence.
Right. Yeah. I also learned that Mohan was supposed to go to Germany for his higher studies. Now, how does this whole thing, obviously this will have an impact on it, but how is Mohan sort of dealing with this?
Okay. Suresh, well, actually, I am actually supposed to go to Germany this week. I have actually 2 weeks seminar in Germany, University of Potsdam.
I see.
So I am missing that, and obviously it will have some, impact on my studies. And that is not the only case. Like I am going to submit my PhD. Like I'm finishing in July my term registration. So all these things, like also the administration doesn't want us to, come out of with a nice thesis or, with a PhD degree, where we can, like have some good academic, careers. And, our university is such a, so Brahmanical attitude they have, that they don't want any sort of, very good students coming out, and they are, from the marginal section, and they are really, they really, harass the SC minority students on the campus. It's not only about my case, and, there are other cases where, like, our university gives travel grant, for the students to go abroad and present and, do some work. And now, like, all the, marginalized section trying for that grant, therefore this present Vice Chancellor, stopped it, and this grant was there since the university started. It's been 6-7 years, and this grant suddenly she stopped because the only reason is that marginalized people are going, and they were how can they have the abroad experience and all those things. So this is all connected to some kind of hierarchy and very larger political agenda, where they try to harass and restrict the marginalized section entering into the campuses.
I see.
Friends, NRI Samay is a non-profit independent alternate media from Los Angeles, USA, which brings positive stories from grassroots activists from all corners of India and across the world. NRI Samay does not rely on corporate funding, and our shows are commercial free. We only rely on your donations. Corporate funded media is driven by the TRP rating, and profits are blurring the distinction between news and entertainment. Why do our news channels talk so much about cricket, movies, accidents, popular figures' personal lives, babies of heroines, gossips, etc., while they should be covering the struggles of people, inequality in our society, rural issues, and border security issues? Why did our media raise some corruption crusaders to the sky on one day and shut them off completely when graft charges were raised on those corporate sponsors? Media relies so much on the corporate funding and government blessings that they cannot report independently. NRI Samay is different. We don't accept funds from any corporations, and hence our shows are commercial free. We completely rely on donations from you. Please consider donating to NRI Samay, and please go to nrisamay.com and donate generously. This is the only way together that we can continue NRI Samay. All donations are kept transparent on nrisamay.com. And if you have any questions, please write to nrisamay@gmail.com.
Well, so I mean, so obviously based on what you said, it looks like you three being the leaders of these separate organizations who are extending support to the ongoing protest against this, the reading room being or the study room being open, was, I think, a way to send a message to the students, or sort of deter them from taking any actions further. But if you look at the whole situation, how has the student community responded to this incident? Like student community as in from various sections, not just marginalized, but in general, how has the student community responded to this?
Actually, the student response was very overwhelming. See, if you look at the time when the administration has taken the decision, it's very surprising and also cunning on the part of the administration. They have taken this decision of rustigation when all the students, almost like, the EFLU University consists of some 2,000 students.
I see.
When almost the students, like in BA and MA, they are like in major number. They are around some 1,500. So she took a decision, the Vice Chancellor took the decision of rustigation after the exams of BA and MA. So that, these people finishing exams, they can leave. And minimum, like, 100, 150 students who are just, research scholars, PhDs, they will stay on so that, there would be no resistance from the students' part. But it is unlike that, the students through various measures, either it may be through social networks or through sending letters to the vice chancellor, or organizing some kinds of protest in their respective places. And not only the students of the campus, but students across all the universities, including Osmania University, which is very close by, as well as Hyderabad Central University and Maulana Azad National University and many other universities, regional universities. They are, even though they are less in number, even though they have finished their exams, they are coming onto campus and they are expressing solidarity, and they are taking part in, day-to-day regular protests also.
I see. Well, so what is the way forward right now? What are your next course of action? What are you guys doing to sort of bring a closure to this?
Yeah, we have been we're doing all kinds of protests, and we also gave our future plan, future program, where we are actually today called for a effigy burning program across the state and nation. And 29th, the protest, the respective places where you have martyr statues, Telangana martyr statues, and 31st we are holding a meeting with all the political party leaders. We are inviting all the political party representatives and giving them this memorandum and taking their help also. And we have also called for a Mahadharna in Osmania University, where in front of Arts College, June 4th. That is Mahadharna. After contacting all these people, we are having a state meeting which is called Mahadharna on June 4th. Then there is one more program. If the issue is not solved by that time, we have called for a Chalo Governor office on June 18th.
I see.
So yeah, it's not only the student struggle, but it is also the whole political and social civil liberties groups should involve in this, and it should be looked at the political struggle, and how the university spaces are being curbed, and how the voices have been suppressed. This should be focused more, and this should be reached to the entire nation. So that is a form of struggle we are leading towards, and I hope someday we will achieve we will get the result, and we are really hoping that the rustication would be cancelled and revoked.
Right. Well, good luck to you both, and hope all your efforts give the results that you guys deserve. If there is any website or any other information that you'd like to share, so people can know what is going on, or if they want to join your efforts, do you have any information to share?
Yeah, actually, it's majorly communicated through social networks, and there is an online journal called Roundtable India, in which we are majorly publishing our views and articles related to this thing. And the other one is through Facebooking. We are doing this propaganda. You can access our Facebook accounts. One is DABMSA, DABMSA. Okay. And then other one is TSA, Telangana Students Association. So both these accounts, one is Dalit Adivasi Bhujan Minority Students Association, and the second one is Telangana Students Association. So both these accounts, Facebook accounts will carry the Facebook profiles will carry the information regarding the latest updates of the protest, as well as the progress of the entire issue.
I see.
And one more thing also, it is not only about the Telangana student or marginalized student within the nation.
Right.
But it is also outside the nation, this kind of rustications in the universities should not be there, and it should be removed. And this whole the idea about rustication is completely the academic death of a student, and we are also we have also put a demand that the rustication in the university should be removed, and that demand are also we are going ahead with it. And we also request all the students and human rights activists in the nation and outside the nation, in like across world, and to support and and be with this movement. And if wherever they are, they can, if they can do something, they can do some protest, they can voice out, they can write, they can sing, they can do all forms of protest. And we request everyone to voice out and be with us and do support us.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Mohan and Satish. And as Mohan rightly put, this is not just about the rustication of 3 students. This is to reinforce the fact that even if it's a university, it has to be run democratically. And even I think the larger issue being the rustication itself should be completely abandoned, because it's in Mohan's words, it's the academic death of a student. So Mohan and Satish, thank you very much for joining us, and we wish you all the very best. And for our
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. For our listeners, if you want to follow all the activities, please look up Roundtable, which is an online website, at roundtableindia.com, and then you also have the Telangana Students Association and the Dalit and Marginalized Students Association on Facebook. So once again, thank you very much, Mohan and Satish.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Friends, if you liked today's show, please go to youtube.com/NRI Samay and click on the subscribe button. You will get notified every time we publish a new show. And you can also like us on our social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, and Google+.